Hey, lovely people, it is your girl, Kia Simone. I am back with you for part two of the Love and Marriage series, as I promised. This week, we have another lovely couple. So I just sit back, get you a nice glass of water because it's a hot one. Not hot, we're talking literally. It is hot in Michigan. I know it's hot where they're at. So we're going to go ahead and just, without further ado, bring in Will and Charlene. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey guys.
What's up? What's up?
I know it's hot there because it's like cooking here. I feel like Jesus, whatever you cooking is done. So how are you guys doing?
You're doing well.
Okay, don't be
Staying cool.
nervous. So let me see because I don't like the earbud. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
Awesome, because those earbuds drive me crazy. I feel like I'm talking louder. Okay, so let's just get started. So I just switched it up a little bit. So I want to do a little icebreaker. So you guys are going to have a late dinner. So what meal are you guys going to have? We just want to know more about you. Food tells a lot about a person. So is it Italian, sushi, Thai, American? What food are you having?
Soul food.
It gotta be soul food.
But
So
I'm having salad.
you have a salad? Okay. That's what's up. She said salad.
No, Thai food.
See Thai. See you my type of see Thai. So we have to catch get Thai next time. Because I love Thai. So soul food, what are you gonna get, Will, at the soul food restaurant?
Anything that I can identify. I won't know what I'm eating.
What about pig feet? You do pig feet?
You know what? I started to try some pig feet now.
Hmm. Interesting. I've never had pig feet. So just give me a minute and we'll go ahead and get started. So how long have you guys been together?
Together, we've been together.
13 years.
Okay. So how long have you been married?
11 years.
11.
Mhm.
So how did you guys meet?
Well, we met through a mutual friend, which is actually his cousin. She worked with me, and she was watching me for about 3 months. She was, trying to look out for someone for him that he just to, just someone to just kick it with, hang out with. She thought he was spending too much time at home watching sports. So she approached me at work one day, and we used to talk, periodically. She would come to work, and when she come in, I would be on my break, and she knew I always used to sit by myself. I'm not cliquish, so I would sit over in the corner by myself, eating my popcorn, not bothering anybody. And she would come in and speak to me, and but then all of a sudden, it was about several months later. She asked me, was I seeing anyone? And at the time, I said, sort of, kind of. Well, why? Do you have anyone I can meet? She said, well, maybe. And then um, later on that night, she brought me the phone and she was like, here, somebody needs to talk to you. And I'm like, what? No, I'm not ready for this yet. But we talked on the phone for several weeks before we ever met. And I wanted to establish that first. Because sometimes when you meet people, you have all this other stuff in the way. You want to get to know the person first to get to like them as a friend. And on his end, she was coaxing him into getting out.
Yeah, she was trying to get back out. She called me every day when she goes to work. She was calling me. Where I would just talk to her until she got to work. And it was every day because they worked the same shift. And so, she said, well, Joe, I don't want to introduce you to someone. I said, no, it's a man in ESPN. We got a thing going on, this game on, I'm going to talk for a minute, but, I got something else going on with this game. And finally I said, okay, Burns, I talked to someone. And she said, hold on. And next thing I know, Charlene was on the phone. So, yeah, she just gave her the phone.
That's all she
passing. Yeah, as soon as passing. So
and me on the other end, it was like, what? And so I talked to him briefly, and then we ended up talking again later. And then we exchanged numbers, and we had a lot in common. And like I said, we talked several times, but I was good with that. I wasn't quite ready to meet him yet, but he was like, "Okay, I'm getting ready to come over to visit when you get off from work."
No, 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 no. She don't jump in here. No, 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 no. What actually happened was, now you forget. We met at the bowling alley.
I know.
But she jumped ahead. She jumped ahead.
Yes, I did. Yeah, and that was our first date. You're right. He had went on a trip to. He was going to some. He went to Kentucky.
Yeah, we were on the back.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So that was our first date. I said I wanted to go somewhere kind of neutral, not too. I didn't want it to be personal and too romantic.
Yeah, we didn't want it to be a date. So
yeah, I wanted to be something fun to do. That's me. It was like we're gonna go there, or we're gonna go kart racing, or something like that. I don't like to do the dinner and the movie stuff. On your first date.
Awesome. So now we want to know. So you guys were hooked up by a family member. So you were on the job and you didn't even know anyone was watching you. So we never know when someone's watching us. So what was your first impression when who wants to go first? When you first saw Will or when you first saw Charlene? Because your cousin told you about Charlene and she told, vice versa. But what did you guys actually think when you saw each other? And I'll unmute.
Yeah.
I thought it was like because I knew of him from talking to him, so I liked his personality. That was my thing, and it was like, okay, but I didn't never go into it trying to thinking it was going to be a love connection. It was just, hey, let's see how we vibe now because I didn't know how he would feel about me. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to go in there having expectations that we're going to have a love connection. So I wanted to kind of stay neutral. So and let's go from there. So still, I thought he was a really nice guy, and as far as he was well groomed. His nails was clean. Oh yeah, that was the first expression. My first impression, I was like, his nails too clean. I thought I was like, he must not do no work or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to rough hands on guys, and I was like, I knew he drove a truck. He had his own business and stuff, but and that was like, wow, his nails are clean. And that was my first impression. I was like, okay. And that was one of the things she said she watched because she was looking at other females when we were at work. And she said, yeah, I was going to introduce him. This was years later. And she was telling me a couple of the females. And she was like, no, I seen her one day and her bra was dirty. And she said, I'm not going to introduce her to my cousin. Exactly. So keep yourself together. You never know who's watching you.
But
dirty bra, put her out the.
Yeah, the dirty bra. Who knew?
But this had been going on probably for maybe a couple of years. But I just kept putting off. No, I don't need nobody. I'm good. Just leave me alone. I'm good. And that was me. I mean, I was good. I was surviving. I was fine. And I finally I just said, okay, let me, I will meet someone. And when it happened, I said, okay, like you said, we talked for a couple of weeks. I said, well, you call me when you get off from work, and I just talk to you till you get home. That way, see, I can also see, make sure she wasn't going home with anybody else.
I didn't know that.
So, she had, she said, okay, I'm in the house now. I said, oh, okay, all right, then you have a good night, So, it's the little things we do, because if she didn't have time to talk to me, that means she had something else going on.
Okay. See, ladies, pay attention because he just schooled us on something. He was checking to see if she had a, partner at home. What was going on?
Yeah.
And then I would get in the house and I'd tell him, like, let me get comfortable, and then I'll call him back. So he knew, it was just me,
So when you made those phone calls, how good was Will with returning calls or calling when he said he was going to call? Because I know a lot of women are struggling with that today.
He was on top of it. Never had any issues. Never had any problems. He was a man of his word. He is a man of his word.
Okay. So, Will, can you elaborate more on what you thought of Charlene? Because your cousin was talking about dirty bra straps and all kind of stuff. So,
Well, and it's funny you said because when I first saw, her, I said, okay, she seems like she's a, I can work with this. I said, I can work with this. So, mind you, now we at the bowling alley, and I think, believe it or not, it was on a Friday the 13th.
It
And
was Friday.
it was Friday the 13th. It was raining. I said, okay, let me know what type of car you're in. And she said, okay. So, I know where you drove up. When she drove up, well, I run out there with the umbrella, because I didn't want it to get wet. And we come in. I thought, oh, okay, I was checking out, from the backside. I'm like, okay, I can work with this. Uh, and like I said, we went in. I think I can't remember whether or not we bowled or not.
No, we just went over to the bar side and we didn't bowl yet. We just sat and had a little cocktail and talked. We talked, and then we end up bowling afterwards.
so if I know a little bit about you guys, but can you share? Was this your first marriage?
No.
No,
So,
absolutely not.
And,
so
and, and,
go ahead.
No, I just said that was the whole thing. When we met, we wasn't really looking for love. We were just looking for companionship. Uh, we just wanted to be friends, And we said that up front, Nah, we just want somebody to hang out with and just have a good time with, And that's where we were. That was our plan. Yeah, that was our plans going in.
And I'm glad you just walked us into the next question because again, a lot of times people when you go in looking for love and you just be so like gun ho on, I just want to be in love, I just want to be in a relationship, and then you just pick the wrong person because you're impatient. So I think how important is it to be friends first? Because you guys started off at the bowling alley. So how important was it to be friends?
It was because you really, when you're friends with somebody, you're gonna respect them as a friend and everything. I think the relationships change the whole dynamic if you jump into it too fast. So you
Hmm.
gotta like somebody. You gotta like their personality as a friend because just like your regular platonic friends, if they do something crazy and outlandish, you kind of you cut them short, or you're gonna be honest with them. Depending on the maturity of that friendship. So
Okay, so you guys pretty much sound like you were just enjoying life and just taking it
yeah.
easy.
We were just enjoying each other. I mean, it was
And that's what his cousin said. He just needs somebody just to go out to the movies with, to go out to dinner. He likes to travel. I like to travel. So I was like, yeah, we can do that.
So I'm glad we have a man on the panel. So a lot of times men nowadays are a little pushy. So what advice would you give to the men that are not coming off? They're coming off like real pushy. Like, can I get a hug? Can I come over and cook you dinner? All that.
Yeah. Turn off.
you know,
I could say that.
yeah. I mean, I personally, well, put it this way: if a man goes into a situation like that, to me, he's looking for a little bit more. I mean, when I met Charlene, we went into it, and like I said, we just wanted to be friends, and it developed into something else. Uh, I mean, we were just, you could say, we were just hanging out together, and we found ourselves spending every weekend with each other, and whether she had something to do or whether I had something, that's okay. Well, you want some company? Well, sure, and we just started spending so much time with each other. We looked around, we're like, okay, wait a minute, you know, uh, we're moving along.
so it sounds like you guys were friends. So how long were you guys friends and before you knew that she was the one? So who knew first? Like who kind of like was like this might be going somewhere?
Well, I feel that time you knew it, but you just kind of afraid. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
We both, what we both had a wall up.
Yeah.
And the reason why I know he had a wall up, and I found out later because his ex was from Michigan too, and he thought she was trying to set him up just to see what was going on, and I never knew that. Later, and I was like, so he was like,
No,
but you know what?
yeah.
We we vibed so well, and all we were doing was like waiting for like something. It can't be this perfect. There's no way. Something wrong with him. That's all I was thinking. Like I'm waiting to see, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing. I was just waiting for, and then he was saying the same thing. Like this girl got to be crazy. Why is she by herself? Why is she not with anybody?
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that because I was single so long, and I used to hear that all the time. Something must be wrong with you. I was okay being single, but
So
I
that's
hate
a
that
good
when people
point.
think that something's got to be wrong with you because you're single, but that was by choice.
But I'm glad you brought that up. Just be happy wherever you were at, wherever God places you. Be happy. Be happy in your singleness. Then you were okay. Like, okay, well, I don't really need a man, but I enjoy his company, so it's a nice added benefit, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so you guys kind of had walls up, and again, that's like really a lot of things that people do when they're divorced or had a relationship that just didn't work out. So
Right.
you guys dropped the walls and kind of figured out who was the that you was the one. So now we want to know. We want to be nosy. Who said I love you first? You don't remember?
He said it was me.
It was
He
her.
said it, he said it slipped.
Yeah, it's well, Kia, see, like you said, we both had walls up, and it was kind of funny, because I was waiting on the other side to come out. I'm like, okay, something wrong with this chick. It's got to be something wrong with this chick. Ain't nobody gonna leave this chick out there like this. And like I said, we communicated so well together. And I think one night I was leaving her house, and we was on the front porch, and she slipped and said, "I love you." And I'm like, now, you know, me being a man, I'm like, okay, here it comes. What's she up to? What's she up to? I mean, because I mean, we was like I said, we was
It was
enjoying each other.
perfect.
We
It
was
was
we was
perfect.
feeling it. We was feeling each other, but the walls were still there.
We was just waiting for that other.
I mean, here I'm talking 5 years into our relationship. The walls were still. I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute, when's it gonna happen? When's it happen?
He
But
just
Kia actually, now I'm gonna tell you, I knew she was the one. I think I was at the house one day. It was pouring down raining, and her gutters was full of leaves. And I said, well, when the rain stopped, I said, I'm gonna get out here and fix these gutters. So, the rain kind of slacked up a little bit. I said, you got a ladder? She said, yes. So I went outside and went in her garage and put the ladder up, and I went up on the roof. When I looked down, she was coming up the ladder. I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is different. I said, okay, this here might be the one. She don't mind getting her hands dirty with me. And
Listen, ladies. I said I don't know if I can do the roof. So last week we had Teresa hanging from the side of her house on a ladder. Now we got this one on the roof. So ladies, we might have to take some pointers because it sounds like we gotta get our hands a little dirty.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like you said, how did I know he was the one? Because throughout, I mean, it was a little while, and he never came off like you said. Guys coming in like, give me a hug, ooh, this and that. He never, none of that stuff ever came up, and it made me kind of question him. Like, so maybe he's not interested in me like that. And I was like, this dude is too slick. I was like, how can he just be so smooth and just, because usually I'm looking for red flags, and it was none there. Never. I never came across a red flag, except for then it scared me. But it's funny because the very thing that you prayed for and it's there for you, you don't even realize it, and you don't even know how to like, well, this is it. This is what I was looking for. This is what I knew I needed in my life. But I mean, he would come over, and I had some trees that was overgrown. He would just go in the back. Never had to ask him for anything. Never. He came in as a man, knew what needed to be done. He would come over. Put a wall up in my garage where I had a little office. Never expected anything in return. Never. And it was like, okay,
wait a minute, kid. There was something I was expecting though. That was a meal.
He did get that. Okay.
So
I
did she
wanted
give
a
you the
meal.
meal?
That was easy. That was easy. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? And what you said earlier was so true because I hate it when guys just come up on you. It's a turn off. And if you're not feeling that yet, just let the woman get comfortable with you and kind of but and when you kind of force yourself on her, that's a red flag to me. drop guys for that
And
very reason.
exactly, because most women or most men or somebody, like I said, Will is a perfect example that men go through things. Also, Michael Baser wrote a book years ago, Men Cry in the Dark. Now, we're not saying you were over there crying, Will, but
Yeah.
things happen that make us, put our walls up. And then when
Mhm.
the guys come in all aggressive, or a woman be like, I want you to bury me in, right now. You're like, wait.
And you know what? That is a big turnoff because when you meet a woman and the first thing you hear is, well, I need to get my lights, I need my light bill paid or something. That's a turnoff. If she had needed anything or whatever I saw needed, I just did.
Yeah.
She didn't have to ask me for it.
Yeah, I never had to ask him. And if he seen a need, he took care of it
See,
before we
ladies,
got
y'all
to.
better take note.
Yeah.
Because I always say, if I got to keep telling you, I can do it by myself. Like,
Hmm.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah, but he was like, anything else you need? I'm gonna tell you another thing. It was like once we got into a relationship, he I mean, I had lost my job, and and I'm good on saving money, stuff like that. I had my little nest egg, and he, and I never had that happen to me. A guy he was like, hey, you're not working yet. I know you've been off for a while. You need your mortgage paid. You need this and that. And I didn't even know how to accept that. I was like, no, I'm good. But I was, but it was just so awkward. And I have friends be like, girl, I would have took that money, but I didn't want to go in a relationship like that because he knew that I can take care of myself. But I'm with you because I want to be, not because it's a need there. Because my saying is always, once that need is gone, if you with a man just because you have needs, once your needs are met, that's how relationships kind of crumble because it's got to be more deeper than that.
absolutely, I totally agree. Like I said, he came in, he saw, that you were not working. He just wanted to make sure he was checking, to make sure his boo was okay.
Yeah,
You was cool
exactly.
at that point. So the courtship. So you guys sound like you guys were courting for a while. Let me mute. Okay. So you guys look like you were courting for a minute. So how did the discussion of marriage? Because like I said, that second marriage, a lot of people do their first marriage and be like, I'm done. I'm gonna just, be solo dolo. Some people never remarry. So how did that come up?
And I don't even know. I really. Oh yeah, he said. Okay, he did tell me. He said I told him. Okay, so I come to his house for a weekend, or he usually come to my house, because I had it all. Because now we ain't gonna talk about this.
Oh.
My house was fully furnished. Let's say that it was my abode. It was comfortable. It was like so that was my space. And he would come around and just didn't want to leave. And I told him I was like, and then when I come over here and I would come and stay with him, for the weekend, and it was just like, I can't go on like this. I wanted to set a better example. And one thing I always said, I said, I would never play house again.
Yeah.
Ever. That was my thing. I'm not going to play house. We're going to, I'm good over in my space and, but the subject didn't come up, but I knew something because every time we would ride, he always was holding my hand and just on my ring finger.
I was rubbing that
He
finger.
was rubbing his
I
skin
didn't realize it. I had no idea, but I do it. I did do that for some reason.
He held on to my hand every time we ride somewhere, but he always held my hand. He's very affectionate. He always hold my hand, and we'll be in the car, and he just kept saying, looking down at my finger, like, I got to put something on it. I got to put a ring on it.
That was not my thought. I don't know. I don't know who put that thought there, but she's right. I rubbed her fingers as constant. And I'm like, okay, but the subject came up with, like she said, she didn't want to play house. And I said, okay. It was kind of funny how it all happened because we went we went to Lebanon and got the marriage license. You get your marriage license, and they gave us what was it, 30 days,
Yeah.
something like 30 days or something. Where the 30 days was winding down. I thought I'm not gonna do this for once now. You either make up your mind.
Yeah, I had cold feet. I could because when he did it, it was like okay. Because at first it was like when people no what happened when he gave me the ring and then people found out. So his very cousin who up there done planned our wedding, girl, and I'm like, And I mean, I had no say so about it. She done had my dress picked out, everything, and I'm like, it was just too much pressure. And then I had an auntie that was like, y'all need to get married, and and then I had a daughter tell me like, well, mom, you haven't ran him away, so apparently he's gonna stick around. So she did.
So I have a question. You stood your ground about playing a house. So a lot of women are scared to speak their truths because they scared if the man might, bail out.
You're right.
So, for you to stick to I don't want to play house, were you afraid that he was gonna like, not buy into it, or you would have just said, okay, he's not the one? If he would have said, well,
I didn't think I knew, but it was just like I was uncomfortable. I got to the point where it's like, we started going to the church together, and it was like, how that feels going there, and they talking about, and I was like, man, I can't do this, or we gonna have to, I'm gonna stay at my place, you stay at yours, but we still don't, we still together, you know what I'm saying? But I just was ready to, whatever, Teresa.
I was feeling the same way. I was like, you got married. I seen a name change, I think on social media. I was like, I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things, and yeah, it was after the fact, but something about that guilt just hit me, and like I said, I didn't want to. It was going to be a matter of me just staying at my place and he staying in his place, And what happened was one time I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and something happened, and she said, I said, what's the big deal? He didn't put a ring on your finger. You can see whoever you want. And he said that he heard me say that, and then that was another reason why he said, well, I gotta put a ring on her finger. Remember you told me that? And I was like, well, I had platonic friends and stuff like that, and that's all it was. And a lot of men think you can't be friends with other guys with it being completely platonic, but that's where I learned a lot about men through male friends.
So I'm reading the comments, and I know a lot of people was like, after the fact, you didn't even tell your own children. So
after what fact?
I guess they're talking
there now. So
yes.
my question is, keeping busybodies or family members, everybody, just keeping people out of your business, that was help make your marriage so strong, because a lot of times sometimes we have a lot of people involved in our situation, like you said, picking dresses out or just little small stuff. So was that a conscious decision, or what was behind the kind of keeping it low key?
That's just me. I don't know. I
mean, I call her secret squirrel. But I mean,
not the way you think. It's just I'm very private. I am.
She is very, very private.
Yes.
But like I said, we spent so much time together. It wasn't that we was keeping it secret. It was nobody involved in our life other than me and her. I mean, this was every weekend, and you would think that well, you're gonna take a break. We never took a break. I mean, every weekend we were together doing something, and it wasn't a matter of keeping it a secret or anything. It was just that we were so into each other. We didn't need anybody. If we went somewhere, maybe to an event or something, it was always we were there at the event, but we were always into each other the whole time. It's funny because I can remember. I think her daughter had moved to Florida or somewhere. I think she had moved to Florida. And I just told her, I said, well, this was before we got married. I said, well, let's take a road trip. And she said, well, I hadn't met your mama yet, because I had to go up to Walmart. Where did I go to
No, we had to let her know that we were going out of town.
Yeah. And see, that's another key. I met her mother, and I was impressed by her mother. Because I said, okay, I've learned. You look at mom and you tell what the daughter's going to be like. Because apple don't fall far from the tree. So yeah, I love her mother. I mean, I love her mother. I love the whole family atmosphere. I mean, because she's from a large family. I love the family gatherings, and while she's low key, well, I'm just opposite. And so we kind of balance each other. I mean, like I said, she's low, but it's funny because all of my I was raised. Shouldn't say raised. I come from a family of a lot of independent ladies. Okay,
Okay.
all my aunts, uh, and even past, I guess people that I've dealt with. It's always been a lot of females involved, and it was funny because I just recently told her I can tell her about each of these little females that I know, which is my aunt and my mother's and my what do you call it, grandmothers and all. And she I told her that I said you have a little bit of everybody that I admired growing up in you. I mean the whole independence, the flowers, the changing of the house. I mean, just all this look at, oh, girl, you remind me of my aunt. Oh, girl, you remind me of my mom. Oh, girl. I mean, and it's crazy, though. I mean, the think that you would find somebody that all these things that you loved about different people around you, now you got it all in one.
That's awesome. Because a lot of times people, they
I
say
mean,
you marry your family, you marry your parents or whatever, you find those traits, even though you might not like them as a child, but they say you find the traits
The
of your
ones you
parents that
admire.
you find.
the ones you admire, and even my cousins, all my cousins, man, like that, all my my female cousins, they say, all right, you got to stick around. I mean, and every all of and kind of find she even work with one of them. She was on the job, and that was funny within itself.
Yeah, it was.
You could tell it.
It
So
was.
it sounds like you guys did a good job blending the families. Once he came in, he was like, "Okay, this is awesome. I like it here." Did you feel the same way, Charlene? Like, like, okay, this is awesome. This is what
Yeah, let me tell you, his female cousins were so overprotective of him, and I understand because of the whole X factor, the X factor, and they were very protective, and they were always like, and his sisters, and because he has a good heart, and people had a tendency to take advantage of him and stuff, and I mean, his even male cousins looked out for him. I mean, one of them like they just basically told me that. I'm like, well, dang, what about me? Like I'm just gonna hurt this man. And once they got to know me, they loved me to death. Now it's all about Charlene. It's
Hmm.
yeah, and that's what in the blended family thing. And I'm gonna tell you what I admire because I'm gonna tell you my first little grandbaby Trinity. That was my little heart, right? And so she was not comfortable because she had all my attention once he came on the scene. And but he loved children. I mean, he would sit on the floor and do all the stuff with her. And she came around. She really liked him. He hang out with her. When he would go anywhere, Trinity was his road dog. She jump in the truck with him, go anywhere. And, he had the big rig, and he would put her in the truck, and they just played in the truck like that was their little playground. But we went to the mall to meet my oldest daughter and the kids. I don't know. We had to go there for something. And what impressed me that I seen my granddaughter and my grandson,
Oh,
and they come running towards me and run right past me to him. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm like, okay, but you know what? That melted my heart. It was no bad
oh,
feelings about it. I mean, you know what? Because you know what? They love me anyway because they still stick up for grandma, but the fact that they ran to him like that and hugged him, I'm like, wow, that impressed me. So he made an impression on them. Because Trinity was very,
oh
no,
yeah, yeah, that was her
that
grandmother.
was,
Okay.
nobody came between us.
so I love to have people on the show that second go round. So the first time we make a couple of mistakes, we live and learn. So is marriage what you expected? Like, because from the first marriage, is this marriage what you expected, or did you have just let it go and just live it, or what blueprint did you use?
um, yeah, it's kind of what I expected this time. What I expected the first time didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? I, I believe in marriage, but I believe in being happy remarried. So I'm not going to be involved in anything that's not beneficial to my health and my sanity and all that stuff. So um, it's what you make it. So it's exactly what I expected because I don't know. It's just I think because we've both been through it, we don't have time for drama. I mean, that was the thing, the conversations that I had. I was like, look, I like. I told him I was straight up. I was like, I know a lot of nice guys, the good guys. Always, every experience I've had, I used to, friends I had, married couple friends, and they were just the women was crazy, and they had the nicest guy. But what it was, they were taking them for granted because these guys were just sitting and just these women would be crazy. I'm like, why all these good guys get these crazy women? What's wrong with me? Do I got to get crazy? But he I told him, I said, look, my home is my peace. I don't want to deal with none of that. I said, and I know you probably used to all that craziness, but I said, I am not the woman for you if you like drama, because I don't operate like that. I told him, I don't do drama.
Sometimes I think men like crazy because I'm like, okay,
no.
Because me, I'm so chilled, and it was like, and then. But they always end up with these crazy women who want to cut up their tires and break windows and all kind of stuff. And that's that's not my thing.
And I totally agree. So he said, no, they don't like crazy. Because a lot of times they'll have like a nice, comfortable home and be out with crazy. So, like, what you guys, we talked offline, Charlene. So you just made a good point where you said that, y'all had these conversations like, okay, listen, I'm at this age, I'm expecting this out of life. I want peace. How important was that conversation, or how early on did you have that? Because that sounds like a good conversation that needs to be had because, when I said, well, what tough times did you have? And, we talked offline and you're like, well, we haven't had any because we just basically not.
We don't do drama.
People always say you're lying. When people be like, they lying. But how can you say that?
Because I'm not gonna argue with you about anything. We can talk, but I don't believe in all that raising your voice because nobody get heard that way. And we're too mature for that. You know what I'm saying? Those are things you kind of did early on in your relationship, trying to make this hard-headed boy that you trying to want to become a man that you dealt with in your last relationships or something. But I was just like, we really was trying to think hard. Where do we have like a rough patch where we were like, this is it? Oh, I do. I have one.
Which one is that?
It's not rough.
Okay.
He's gonna laugh because it's so petty. It's so petty. But me, it was we had just got married, and it was about probably not even a good like 3 weeks. And I had a meltdown because I am a neat freak.
Yeah. This is before we got married.
Is she moving furniture around on you? Because Brittany said she's moving furniture.
All the time. I have to have a roadmap when I come home because I never know.
No, but what it was, so I wasn't working at the time. I was out from work. That was the time, and then I came here. I said, they'll give me time to get the house together. Once I moved in, we were married and stuff. So I was like, cool. I'm not ready to go back to work yet because I'm going to make this house my home. And he's not quite organized as I am because.
No, I'm not.
The way he files stuff away, he just put them in an envelope and writes something on it. I don't know. But me, I'm a lab tech, so we got our quirkiness about us. So I want stuff labeled. I want stuff put away. So I go into I cleaned out the whole office. It was completely organized. And little bit by little bit, I see little things like stuff sitting on the desk and this and that. I was like, okay. So I go out to the garage. The garage was a total mess. I got all the shelves cleaned up, and I was just like, but it got so overwhelming. Then I come back in, like later on, a couple of days later, with him coming back home, I go back in the office, and it's like in disarray. And I was like, oh no, I can't. And when I looked in the garage, and I was like, this is how he is. He's not organized. I can't. I literally had a meltdown, and I just called him. I was like, I can't do this. I'm going home. I said, we can stay married, but I really need to live in my own house. That's what I told him. And I packed up my stuff, and I went home and went back to my house. And I was like, and so he told his boss, he was like, man, I got believe me if I go home and clean up. And she said, well, did you just get married? He said, my wife will leave. I left. I did. I left. I had
So
my clothes. I said, I love you, but I can't live like this.
I that's a big one, Will, whether you believe it or not. Because if you're a neat freak and you have someone that's not organized, that's a big one. So was that before? So we could just jump into the question. Let's talk about distance. So I know at one point you guys were working in different cities. So how
Mm-hmm.
did you guys make that work? I understand that you said you was the neat freak, and then you probably was like, "Oh, okay, I can keep everything neat." But how did you guys make it work?
I don't know. It was. I think it just happened because every other weekend, either I would ride down to Memphis, which was probably about 2 or 3 hour drive, or either she would come up, and so it just started to kind of happen to involve. It was almost like dating all over again because you know we look forward to the weekend. We talk all through the week on the phone. But come the weekend, it was like, okay, we got this date. Either she's coming up or either I'm going down. And I mean,
It was like dating
it
again.
was like dating
So
again.
we never got out of that dating mode because mind you, you know what? On our first anniversary, I was in Memphis.
Yeah.
We hadn't even made it a year when I had took the job down there. But the plan was it was he was going to take a job down there, but we had to see how this job was going to work out. And I was down there for about almost 2 years. But that we kept it fresh because it was just like how when I lived here, because our schedules never. I mean, we never really seen each other until the weekend anyway, because the way our schedules were, and I think I was working like a second shift, and we never,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
now, I
yeah,
don't
it's
see them
all
till the
scheduled.
weekend. So I might
So
say
with Yeah. So with that being said, so Will, you guys had your space or whatever. You were, a bachelor for a minute. She was, single for a minute. So let's talk about gender roles. So a lot of my girlfriends we talk about gender roles, and I think people get so caught up in what the man is supposed to do, what the woman is supposed to do. So we already know she's up there on the roof with you. So
but
how did you guys talk about the gender roles, or you just kind of fell into those roles? Because I always tell people on every live, I know how to cook, but I don't want to cook. So how important is it for you guys? How do you guys make that work?
We don't have gender roles. A lot of times that I just come in and whether whatever needs to be done, I normally do it. I know Charlene does not like washing silverware. Okay, she does not, but I don't know what it is. She don't like washing
I wash
silverware.
all the
She'll
dishes.
do all the dishes, and I just come in and see them there, and I just wash them up. Because of the roles that we still play, we still work in different shifts, so we really
Just pick
only
up the slack.
yeah, we just pick up to say, we just do whatever, needs to be done as we go throughout. I mean, I might come in one day and I might like, oh, I see some dust on the floor, and I might run the vacuum or run the dust off. We don't have necessarily what you call gender roles. I mean,
Like cooking and stuff, because we eat two different types of food. So um, and
I,
then he might like on a Sunday. I said, if you want me to cook something for you for the week, you better let me know now. And if not, I mean he'll throw something together for himself. And if he something specific that he want me to cook for him, I'll do it. But if we go all week and I don't know,
But I
I
just
don't
like the fact that he knows, okay, she don't like to wash them forks. So let me just go in and wash these forks out. So a lot of times people get so stuck on that. And then the people that usually do that, they're not holding up their end of the bargain. So you'll be like, how you telling me I gotta cook and clean, but you're not cutting the grass? But hey, I'm confused.
well,
So
see, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we were both single for a length of time, so we just got used to doing for ourselves,
yeah.
and so I mean, it just works. I mean, like I said, I guess more or less, yes, we're married, but we're more or less still just great friends. I mean, we can go. It's funny because we both like to people watch, so we do that a lot. We go out and we just be hanging out at the bar. Uh, even
Sitting outside on the just watching folks.
just watching.
and that's
I mean,
awesome because it works for you guys. But sometimes people get into a marriage and be like, okay, this is what he's supposed to do, this is what she's supposed to do, and it doesn't always work. So you guys seem like made it work. Okay, you come in, you see a fork, she does what she does. You might catch her on the roof. Who knows? So I have another good topic that I want to cover. So finances. A lot of young people or new marriages are struggling with finances. You get into a marriage, you find out he owe, 60,000 in child support, all kind of crazy stuff. So how important was it to talk about finances, or how soon did you talk about finances?
That just, I don't know. You know what? Because I knew he knew how to manage his stuff, and he knew that he was like this, just like he said. He knew that I had my stuff together. I've dealt with somebody before I went to visit them, and their lights was cut off, and I'm like, red flag, you know. But I knew he was taking care of business, so I don't. It just never. We never had that conversation.
No, and it's funny, Kia, because I'm trying to think. I think when I don't know exactly when it happened, but I can remember telling Charlene, "Look here, I'm gonna go ahead, put you on this bank account." It must have been when
we wasn't even married.
we
That was
wasn't
another
married.
thing. I'm like, nobody does that. I
I
was
said,
like, he was so transparent, and that's another thing why I knew. I was like, and even like when he gave me the key to his house, and I'm like, I don't do that stuff, but he was letting me know, hey, he ain't playing no games. This is mine is yours, and even his
Ladies,
business account for his business. And he took me to the bank and put me on his account, and I'm like, what?
and I did that because, like I said, I am transparent. I did that for a simple reason. All right, if something happened, or maybe because I drove a truck for a living, so I might have been out of town or something. I might need something paid. So I said, okay, I'm gonna put you on this account, just in case. And I never thought no more about it. I said, hey, if she takes something, hey, at least I know ahead of time. You know?
And to this day, I've never looked in that account. I don't even know what's in it. I never checked it. Even, we have separate accounts and we have a joint account. And he's on my account and he got other accounts, that came about, with the passing of his father and stuff like that. So, I mean, we know about everything, but to this day, I don't know how much is there, because we know how to manage money. That's just it,
Yeah,
and I knew that.
and that was another good thing, because when she lost her job and I asked her if she needed anything, she said, no, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I said, okay, and I think that's when I put you on. I said, well, just in case you need something, all you gotta do is let me know what's going on, and I'm gonna say, go ahead and write your check, or do whatever.
and that's
But
what's up.
now,
'Cause
now finances, we never
Never had a
never have a problem. I mean, we just never had that. We never had that issue
so I
at
don't know
all.
how to help somebody with that.
Right, so I always tell people, we always have an argument about that. We my girlfriends, we talk about it. I say, no, it's not. As long as what you just said, Charlene, you know that it's there. There's no hiding. But
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like you
it.
can have your individual and then joint, because I don't want, if I want to go buy a pair of shoes, why am I checking in with you? Small purchases. Now, if it's a major
Yeah.
purchase, like if you got a set amount, okay, if you make a purchase amount, we need to discuss it. But
Yeah.
all that every time I gotta check in with you, or no.
Yeah, I can't. And because, like, he has his toys and I have my toys. So I don't need you to, like, ooh, how much you pay for that? Look, stuff is getting paid, all right. But if there's a need for anything, it's getting paid for. But he got expensive toys, and
And,
so do
and,
I.
and she's got expensive. We both have expensive toys, okay?
Woo,
Uh,
yeah.
and
So
she's a
I'm not
little
gonna
bit.
be all in your Kool-Aid to ask you what expensive toys. I can imagine.
It's Harley, and mine is my
Her
bicycle.
bicycles, her shoes, her boots. I mean, put it this way: she's very frugal with money. With me, if I see something and I see something that I want her to have, I just I just buy it.
Yeah.
If I can afford it, I just buy it. Uh, I think we was riding motorcycles. Me and the fellas was out, and I think guy's watch or something quit working, and he had to go in and get a watch battery. And I saw a pair of earrings I wanted for her. They were looking at me like, "What are you doing? It's a special occasion?" No, I just love the earrings. I want her to have them. You
Yeah, he
know,
does that all the
and
time.
and so
Oh,
and, and that was another thing that made me more attracted to her. She said, she didn't do Christmas real big, so it was a matter of if I see something that I want you to have, it doesn't have to be a special occasion. It don't have to be a birthday or anniversary or anything like that. We just go out and
That's what we do.
we just do it.
We don't wait for like, oh, and I told him, I said, don't you ever, I used to see, just being single for so long. Like I said, that's where was my learning thing, going through being single for so long and being on the outside looking at other relationships. And, men stressing over this and that. And then to hear the woman like, oh, he better have this for me and he better do this, and then they going to get mad at the dude if he don't do it right. So when we got together, I said, look, that Valentine's Day stuff, I said, and I didn't have to worry about that because every weekend, every Friday when we first met, he would bring me flowers every Friday. Never missed a Friday. I mean, this went on for about into our marriage, and probably until I probably moved to Memphis. And I said, look, and I would come home for the weekend and he would buy these flowers and they end up dying. I said, look, okay, I finally told him you can stop. You don't have to get me flowers every weekend, But that was something that he liked it to do. But that was my thing. Make every day special. You just do it spontaneously. Don't wait for a date on the calendar for the media to tell you that this is a special day. You better do it big. And then people, they break up for stuff like that. I'm like, no. So I let him off the hook. You do this any other time. And he does. He gets me. He loves jewelry. He's the jewelry man. He does the best at getting jewelry. And so he'll see something he likes. He'll come on like, hey, look, I thought this looked good on you. And that's what we do. So we do a little, when we do Christmas and stuff, it'll be a big ticket item. Hey, we need this for the house.
Yeah, we do it for the house.
Yeah, but we don't. I told him, don't stress over it because it was so stressful the first year for him, and he did it. Everything was wrong. Okay.
What you do, Will? What you said it was wrong?
He didn't know me enough. He didn't know me. But it was just the stuff that he bought. I mean, and I don't want to be the person that have to take stuff back, but I had.
She had to take everything back.
I took everything back. So I told him to save him. Don't buy me clothes. So anything else he does, he buys shoes or stuff for my bike.
Yeah.
And I buy him stuff for his bike, for his motorcycle.
So I'm gonna tell you guys what I learned, that if you become friends with your partner and set not like high expectations, just like have a sit down and kind of just say, listen, I'm not into drama, leave the past behind. We're coming into this new. That's what works because you guys seem like you guys are laid back and you guys are friends. You have friends first. And it seemed to be working for you. So everybody doesn't have to have that traditional marriage. So what advice would you give? Like I said, I kind of touched on what I've captured from this. What advice would you give other couples looking to get married? Because a lot of people, like I said, I always say, they say I do, but they don't. So what advice do you give the people that's out there?
This is what I'm going to tell you to do. And especially when you looking to get married or even just get in a relationship. Follow peace. You have to feel at peace about something. And that was the thing that I did. I sit back, if there's something in your spirit telling you like you said, those little red flags, they are there for a reason. They are there for a reason. If you don't listen to them, that's your fault. But like I said, that was the scary thing because I'm looking and waiting because I know they're going to be there. And it never came up. It was like, no. And then, like I said, and then it made me question, like, okay, he's real good. He's a slickster, but that's just, I'm just saying. I really did, because I was like, there's no way that this man, he's just doing everything right. I mean, and I have a friend. It was so funny. I have a girlfriend, and she know about all my little escapades, all the, when I was dating, and I would call her and tell her about these crazy, here, you want to write a book on this, about the dates. Crazy. I mean, literally crazy. And she used to tell me, and we'd be decent guys and stuff. I never, and she'd say, what is wrong with you? Every guy who she, was a good guy, she said, I pick them apart. She said, I just dissect them. And I'm like, I didn't think I did that. But my thing is, I said, I'm not just going to settle, So you just know in your heart, if you're feeling something that's not comfortable in your spirit, you better wait on it, But
Or
other
you
than that,
said them
yeah,
the lights out, the ex-wife showing up at weird times of the night, they probably still
yeah,
sleeping together. It's just like pay attention to the signs. Pretty much what
yeah,
you
the
said. If you
attention,
didn't feel
right.
peace in your spirit, 'cause most time when we don't feel peace in the beginning, when you go back, you be like, that sign was right there.
Yep, yep, you're right, girl.
You're exactly right. But to me, I feel the most important thing is to be transparent. Just put it all out there. If it's all out there, then you can go through and you can go, okay, I didn't like that, I didn't like that, and so you know what you're walking into. But sometimes a lot of people they go into a relationship expecting a whole lot. Uh, when I met Charlene, I was just expecting a friend just to hang out with, and we just started to connect, and we just couldn't let go of each other. So from
So
then
is
on it was on. I mean, and like I said, to be transparent is the best advice I could give anybody. Because
Yeah,
when you're open, you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to cover up, you have nothing to worry about anybody saying or anything else. Because I'm gonna take her around my side of the family,
mhm.
I'm gonna be around her side. If you're transparent, everything's already out there in the open. There's no secrets. There's nothing for anybody to find out. There's nothing that anybody can tell somebody. Well, let me tell you about him. Well, no, I already know that he told me. Oh, what? Okay. So, I mean, it's
Because if you have to hide something, you're not ready then. You know what I'm saying? If you
exactly.
if you hiding stuff like, oh, I don't want him to know this. You know what? If that man love you or that woman love you, she gonna look past that because you bringing something more to it. You can get past those little things, but it's just you just got to be honest with each other.
And I get it. Like I said, a lot of people are not being transparent because they think people may, break up with them or, maybe be too much. Like I said, with the whole thing with if he owed some child support or he got, maybe he got diabetes. It just like you go ahead and let her know.
Just what do you?
Those are things you look at now. The older I get, I mean, I need to know if I'm about to be taking care of you.
Oh my God! See, because that was one of the things that my friend used to get on me about because I'm like, look, I don't want no addictions. That's my choice. I don't want to be a man. No smoking, and not a big alcohol. We social drink, have a little cocktail and stuff, but having to have a drink every night, having to put away, no gambling problems, no porn problems. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm talking true addictions. Been there, done that, and so those are the things that those are turnoffs to me. So yeah. But you're right. Then I said he has to be healthy. I was like, I don't want nobody on heart medication, and he better not be diabetic because it's tough. I be wanting to do. You laugh.
So, Will behind the scenes, that's my twin, or I'm her twin because we took a test and we kind of like our numbers were matching. So, some of the things we have in common based
Yeah.
off our little test. So with that being transparent, because like I said, a lot of people wait too long and then feelings are involved, and then or they think emotions, and then it's like, okay, now you tell me you have 3 kids. Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah.
So
no. It's funny, kid, because when we first met, I had a car seat in the back of my pickup truck, and so for a while, she never said anything about it, but in the back of her mind, she was thinking, okay, he's got a kid somewhere. Well, when she found out it was my grandson, uh, I think I went to your mother's house for
Mother's
Mother's Day,
Day. Yeah.
and I had my grandson. My daughter said, do you mind watching? I said, no. And I had my grandson with me, and so her mother had
The house full of
a
everybody.
house full of everybody. So everybody was wondering, is that his kid?
I said that old man.
old men have kids
They do. I know. I know. I was just playing, but
older
I
than
was like,
him.
that was something like, I don't want to deal with baby mama drama, but I got to deal with baby grandma drama though. But it's all good. We got it under control. But it was funny. But and I admire that about him because
I didn't have the car seat or
yeah,
anything.
my ex, that was one of the things that that was another thing. Like, what is up? Because he used to take the car seat out of the car, and every time he would come home, I'm like, how the heck he's taking the car seat? Didn't even think about it because he was doing dirt, and didn't want the woman to know that he had a child. And so that, when it hit the fan, I called her and told her, like, hey, did you know he was married and has children? And she was like, no, I had no idea. So
So
yeah, that was the thing
ladies.
about me, just like that car seat thing is like, I love that because he didn't try to hide it, but it was nothing to hide. But I guess that was baggage from my ex,
Yeah, but
relationship.
they
That
said,
whole
but
thing about the car seat.
people are sneaky. So again, ladies, that
Yeah.
was another. She just dropped another little nugget. Pay attention, because like I said, why is you moving this car seat? Like he bring the car seat straight for
Oh,
what reason?
yeah, he would just clean out like, oh, I needed the car cleaned out, just some bull. But he would put the car seat in the trunk every time he would. Yeah, every time he left the house, the car seat went in the trunk.
So a lot of couples, like I said, I'm doing this special because I don't have to be always looking for. I don't have a boo. Not looking for a boo. But marriage is a beautiful thing. It's just what you do with it, what work you're willing to put in. So there's a couple out there that is on the fence about to get a divorce. They're like, okay, I just can't do this. It's too much work. What advice do you give them? Because I know like I'm a big person on counseling. I'm a big person on, seeking godly counsel. People that got sense, not your cousin that got 8 baby daddies. So what is your advice for that couple that's on the fence? I understand we don't need to be putting up with mass abuse and stuff like that. But what is your advice when you pretty much both heart is still in it?
Fighting for, like you said, they're on the fence. That means that it can go either way. So that means they're conflicted right now. And so yeah, I believe in godly counsel, and keeping outside family members and friends out of your relationship, period. Because you want someone non-biased. You don't want um your girl who you hanging out with, like you said,
Your
and
single
your
friends.
single friends, and that's when that's just not gonna work because they misery loves company, and they're gonna love for you to be single with them, and then you just gonna be so unhappy. Um, fight for I fight for your marriage.
To me,
Fight for
if you're on the fence and you're and the subjects came up, I would say, okay, go ahead, sit down with each other, be transparent. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what it is that pisses you off to that point. Let's get it all out and see if there's a happy medium. If not, hey, let's not hold up. Let's not hold up progress. Let's go ahead and do it. But
Yeah.
to me, you know, it's just to be open. I mean, if you're open about, if she put on a pair of shoes and I don't like them, like, baby, you know, I don't think that's working. You gotta be. If you can't be transparent, no, kill you laughing. But if you can't be transparent about it, it's something wrong. There shouldn't be secrets.
And I do. I like that because that's one thing I did tell him. That was another conversation. I said, you got to be honest with me, even if I don't like it. Some women like, oh, he don't tell me that. If you too fat for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I look fat? Don't ask a man if you don't want to know the truth. Don't ask him, because he don't tell you. And you can't be mad at him. But that's one thing he did used to tell me all the time in the beginning. He was like, so how's it going? I mean, I'm telling you, it was like a checkup every month. Like, so how you feeling? After we got married, like, is there anything that you don't like about me? Is there anything that I need to change? He did. I was so impressed
But
by that.
see, I'm impressed right now because that's a good thing. Like you said, just a post check. Let me make sure proof of life. Let me make sure it's still life in this marriage. Because again, people get comfortable and
Yeah.
just go day by day, and then somebody's sitting over there miserable, and then that's like how the affairs and all that other crazy stuff
Yep.
happens because the grass is not greener on the other side. But if you check in, then there's no excuse for you to be saying I was unhappy for 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
see, and that's the thing about me. I'm brutally honest because I'm going to be honest with you. Like, look, I'm not going to do all that. I mean, there's no need to be, like I said, the grass is green on the other side because you need to fertilize your grass. You need to pay attention to your
True.
grass, your yard. You don't need to be looking at nothing else. So if something is lacking there, you take care of that. And that's the problem. But, like I said, I don't know. It depends on the circumstances of the couple that may be looking to divorce. But like I said, if it's You got outside entities that you entertaining. That's the problem right there, because you're not taking care of home. Because we as women, we have intuition. We know, and just something ain't right. We feel it. We know it. And so my thing is, I'm gonna tell you, like, look, I'm feeling this way. I'm not feeling valued, or whatever the conversation is, and tell him why. And don't make it an argument. Make it a conversation, and don't go at it to like, well, we need to talk. That's the thing the men hate to hear too, that we need to talk conversation, but just bring it up in a casual way, in a happy place.
Well,
Not in there with the attitude already. When you're sitting at dinner, like, hey, what's going on with you? I've been feeling this way.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, to me is do not let it get to that point.
yeah,
I mean, if there's an issue, let's say you see an old friend, and let's say we're out somewhere and she see an old friend, and she hugs him, and I don't like the way, if the hug is too much of a hug, I'm like, wait a minute, hey, come in, let's talk about this right quick. Don't let the day go. Don't let the night go without closing. Uh,
But that's what's up though. That you're cool. That you like. Okay, listen. Hey, I don't agree with this. And okay, so we're closing, but I just had another situation. So this is just a random. So you know how sometimes we had Teresa and Ernest on week one. So there a lot of times outside influences come into a relationship, and they're there to just basically to break the relationship up. So when you have a situation with someone that doesn't like your partner, what is your take on that? Because sometimes people don't realize that it's a partnership. So if there's a family member or just another woman that don't like Charlene, we just want to know from a man perspective how you about to roll with that. Will, I'm gonna unmute you.
I tell them sorry about your luck, because she's mine. We're one. We're no longer separate. We're one. And to me, I never had that issue, because everybody, all of my friends, they said, man, you really love that woman, don't you? I got a buddy called Barry. He said, man, hi Charlene. First word out of his mouth, hi Charlene. She's fine. Okay, you really love her. They know that I value Charlene so much.
So they know not to even come to you with that because it's so crazy. Like this new stuff that people doing. I'm like, so you're as a man, you're her protector. So you know people that don't like her, you're not putting her in a safe place because you know you letting these people. If you're cool with them, that's like you're going against her. To me, that's what it seemed like. Okay, we're a team. So if you know this person don't like me, you're gonna go over there hee hee and kiki with that person. No, you
No,
gotta
no, no.
respect
I ain't got time for that. And that's just where, well, that's where I've always been at. If you either, if you don't like my partner, you can't like me. So, you
say
know,
that
it-
again for the people in the back that can't hear.
I mean that's I mean, how would it be that, let's say we was at an event, and the event was maybe for someone else, and you didn't like my partner. Oh, I can't stand it because she's here. Well, I guess it's time for both of us to leave. Uh, I don't know. This right here. This is my ride or die here.
To
Okay,
me, I get it. That's your ride or die. That's who you gotta go home with. And I think the people wouldn't disrespect so hard if they knew that that was your rider. Like I bet not. Like if a woman said, "Oh, I don't like your wife," one of your coworkers or just somebody like, "I don't like Charlene," you'd be like, "What?"
it, it,
we
it,
don't
it,
feed
it,
us a good.
I don't feed into that, but it's funny because a lot of times, if one of my male friends wants to go somewhere, wants to do something, he can say, "Hey, what do you and Charlene think about this?" Or "What do your wife think about this?" We was out with a couple years ago, and I think we was at a restaurant eating anyway. He was talking about he just bought a motorcycle, and he said, you know, uh, "I sure would like to take a trip on my bike. Uh, what do y'all think about this?" And Charlene, she just looked at me and said, "When we going? When we going?" Now she's never rode from Nashville to Florida on a bike. She's probably never been out of Nashville on a bike. But she looked at me because she knew, okay, the guy was asking, he'd never done it himself. But I travel a lot, so she jumped on the back. This girl, this girl rode 1,000 and something miles on the back of a motorcycle. You tell me there ain't a ride or die. So if it's hey, whatever she after that, whatever she said she wanted to do, I had to give in. I mean, I don't know if I would have did that shit if it was the roles were reversed, you know.
But she's a rider. So basically, like I said, I hope the people that are watching this got something from it. We've learned a lot from taking from different couples. So from your relationship, we're taking that, you know, you discuss things, set out a blueprint, and just honor what you said. Say what you say, mean what you mean, and just keep it moving. Because people will say some stuff and don't mean it. So you guys are doing an awesome job at providing positive relationships. Because again, I told you, when people see people, and I notice you guys are private too. So y'all not posting pictures all on Facebook. People be plastering, I love him to the moon and back. Honestly, people watching, I have never heard anything bad about Charlene and Will. So whatever they're doing is working. So guys, keep up the good work. Do you want to add anything before we close?
Waiting on that next book of yours. I love that book. I'm not
Thank
a reader, but
you.
I read your book, girl. It had me.
So I just had someone request the audio today, and she said she's going on a road trip and she wanted the audio. So last night I was thinking about, did I want to like really kill David, or what did I want to do? Or what can bring, because she went to Dubai, so I had to figure out how to bring her back from Dubai. So it was just a lot of stuff. So, but I got y'all.
All right, then. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So if you guys don't have anything to add, stay on. I'll go ahead and end the broadcast, and then we'll close.
All right, that's it.